We are live.
Be alive.
Woohoo. Okay, it's the regular meeting of RFM. We're a little bit too late already. It's almost 1:15. Usually we start at 7. I got a little bit confused why there are different times on the website and on the Slack channel. I don't know why. And there's Joseph. Hello, Joseph. We are already live.
Oh yeah. Hey everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
To make it short, there's a little new from my side because I was ill on the weekend and I'm still getting back to normal, and I couldn't really work for RFM on the weekend. From my side, I could tell you a little bit about something I learned in the last few days because we could use it for RFM too. Cypress, which is a substitution or a replacement for cucumber. For capybara. Has anyone ever heard about it?
We're just talking about that. Sam was talking about doing acceptance tests, and Federico was talking about it.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I just learned it today how to write acceptance tests with cucumber and Cypress and everything. It's pretty amazing, actually. And there's Nicholas. Hi, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Quite many people today. Did anybody work on RFM specifically? Like Nick, did you work on the validation errors, or did you work on what was it? Yeah, this particular bug that we talked about last time.
Sorry, it's breaking up a lot. I'm having trouble hearing.
Yeah,
I have to.
I was just saying, let's make a round robin.
It might be my computer.
Yeah, maybe let's round robin and cite it to the people and ask if anybody was working on a specific feature. Or maybe let's start with Daniel until Nicholas. The connection.
I never touched nothing in RFM. Just I've set up the Docker.
But you sent us some issues regarding the setup.
The Docker setup. But I know what was the problem. So I had installed Docker CE, so Community Edition.
Yes.
Like 2 weeks ago, I set up, my computer from new because I bought a new SSD drive, and I installed Docker, and with Docker it's all right. So the Community Edition doesn't have all the packages probably.
Can you show us your screen anyways, and show us the issue that you opened at the time? I'm interested into the particular issue with Docker. Maybe we can close it.
Yeah, it's okay. It was the problem I had. There were some commands missing in the Docker Community Edition. So it was not the full version, if you know what I mean. It doesn't pull all the packages.
Yeah. Do we have the issue that you opened regarding Docker? Is the issue still open in our repository?
Okay. Now I have to search for it.
And please share your screen so everyone can see. Maybe other people experience this issues as you do. Does anyone experience issues with Docker, with the local setup with Docker? Matt, Joseph, Mike.
I don't really use Docker for local development.
You don't?
No.
Yeah, I always get into issues. Yeah.
You had some issues, Joseph. What were your issues?
Yeah, when you pull changes, let's say Matt did an install, and then maybe he added a package or updated the unlock. Then when I try and start the Docker, you get some dependencies issues with the unlock.
Yeah, there's actually a trick for it. This Docker compose down -v trick. I think we have all our node modules in a volume.
Yeah.
And if you remove the, if you just remove the volumes, then I think it will take the volume from the Docker image. We could talk about that. I think I found a solution for that particular problem. So Joseph, you're talking about somebody merged a pull request. You have the old version on your machine. You build the image with the old version. You have these volumes somewhere flying around. And then you say Docker compose exec web app, yarn install. Yarn install finishes, and it doesn't make any changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ember is still not able to start.
Yeah.
I think I found a solution to that one.
Because it's going to say my unlock is saying that you should have React version 16 while you have React version 15 installed.
Okay, I will keep that in mind. So first of all, do we have any open issues now regarding the Docker thing because of your problem on your machine, Daniel?
The only issues I've opened these are closed. The other issue, I think we were only talking about it somewhere on Slack. So there was no open issue for that. I just asked you if how should I write it in the documentation, but yeah, as it works with Docker, not with Docker CE, then yeah,
Okay, so apparently it was a local installation problem. However, could you still show us your browser maybe? Because Joseph was also talking about a problem with the workflow.
My browsers, you mean when?
That one, that window. Exactly. Maybe you can click on the code, click on Rundfunk mitbestimmen at the top or there. That's also possible. Sorry. Yes, that's where we want to be. And please show us the Docker compose file.
Docker compose.
Yeah. So as I said, there are two Docker compose files that get read by default. Who knows which Docker compose files get read by default? So, Matt, do you know which Docker compose file gets read by default? Or Daniel, maybe you know.
Get read, the ones that are in the root directory?
That's correct, the one that are in the root directory, but how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Which are these?
Read by default.
Give me guys a second, I need to play with someone for like 5 minutes. I'll be back.
You will be back, okay. Or maybe Daniel, do you know which Docker compose files are, what happens when you, for example, just type on the command line Docker compose up? Which configuration file will get used?
So yeah, I think, this with default name, if you don't specify anything other, but we got this context here. I remember you explained this to me last time.
I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Docker compose files.
Yeah, so it's going to be the Docker compose.yaml unless you specify.
Yeah, because the other ones are for staging and.
Yes, and the answer is wrong. Actually, 2 of them get loaded by default. Well, Matt, you are right that the lower, the Docker compose YAML, the last one gets loaded. Well, that's obvious. But there's also Docker compose override. And if you don't specify anything, Docker will look for Docker compose YAML and for Docker compose override.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
So the override is can you click on that, Daniel? Yes. Is that for the backend?
Yeah, so this is the override, and I always use it for the development environment. You can specify one Docker Compose file specifically with the parameter -f, probably --file, right? I think it's easier if I just type it in. I'll type it into the chat window. Docker Compose -f YAML, and then, I don't know, up. Okay? So in the chat, you have Docker Compose -f, Docker Compose YAML, and then something like a command, for example, up. That would only read this default Docker Compose YAML file, nothing else. But if you specify Docker Compose up, it will look for Docker Compose YAML and then Docker Compose.overwrite.yaml. So if you are on a build server, you could, for example, specify the one file directly. But for development, it is, for example, nice to have those volumes here. For example, the node modules volumes. Do you know what I mean? Mike and Matt.
Do you have like do you have a Docker ignore that ignores the node modules in production, but you use this Docker Compose override when you're doing locally?
Yeah, that unfortunately there is no Docker Compose ignore. There is Docker ignore. But there is no Docker Compose ignore. So we have Docker, which builds the image, and will not add any files which are in this Docker ignore file.
Yeah, but does Docker does RFM have a Docker ignore, or like I presume it's not copying over all the node modules?
Well, we can have a look, or maybe Daniel can have a look.
But then I don't even know, like, how is it pushed to production? Are you using Dockerfile?
We don't. No.
Okay.
So we're not there yet that we are using Docker in production.
Yeah.
Currently, it's only for development. All right. We can have a look in the Docker ignore. Daniel, do you want to have a look into the Docker ignore?
Yes, I want to have a look. If Daniel will be my
Docker ignore.
We don't have a Docker ignore. Everything gets added into the image.
You just added it to human connection, right? But
yeah, I think we don't have it here. I think there's no Docker ignore, so everything gets added to the image.
So, but the type of things that you would want to put there is like the node modules, the docs, like.
Yeah, so this is, I would put that into a volume. Why? If you would not put it into a volume, it would require you to
but it's inside the front end.
Yeah,
right. So you can have multiple Docker ignores. Okay, that's correct.
Yeah, node modules, yeah.
Yeah, that keeps the Docker image small.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned to me last week about multi-stage builds, and since then, 2 other people have talked about them. And yeah, it's something I want to learn more about.
In multi-stage builds, you can use multi-stage builds in order to reduce the size of the image. But I never used multi-stage builds so far, so I cannot tell you anything about it. But I would like to talk a little bit about this volume trick that removes the node modules.
Yes, please.
So I'm still not quite sure how it works, but I think when you say Docker Compose down -v, that will read the configuration file from Docker Compose YAML and Docker Compose override. Okay? Think about it. Please go to the repository, Daniel, and have another look on.
Can you repeat that, Robert? When you do Docker Compose down -v?
V is the volume. So down means stop all containers, and -v also removes the volumes.
Okay, and how did you say it's related to the Docker Compose and Docker Compose override?
They just related because the volumes are specified in the override. Let's have a look. Daniel? There are no volumes in the Docker Compose. The only volumes are here because we don't want them on the build server. They are not necessary for the build server, right? Also, to have colored output is not necessary on the build server, right? And on line 16, you see a named volume, which we could also call node modules for convenience. We could name it as we want. And we refer to it on line 6. All right? So that folder gets deleted. The synced folder gets deleted. No, it's not synced, actually. It's just a named volume. So that volume gets deleted when you say docker compose down -v. All right?
Yeah.
So I think if you would now, to go back to Joseph's problem, who left, unfortunately, as far as I can see. Joseph's not with us anymore.
Yeah, he said he was pairing, remember?
Yeah, but I think when you say docker compose down -v and you have that configuration in, then you don't get this awkward error that if you execute yarn install, which should pull down the node modules, install it, and put them into the volume. I think when you delete the volume first and then run this command, then you get the actual packages. So Joseph had this issue that when you build the containers and the images and everything, and you start up the application, and you pull down the latest changes, then you were not able, you somehow got into an endless loop where you always say, yeah, nothing happens. Yarn install succeeds, but apparently it doesn't have any effect. The yarn installs the packages into oblivion. I don't know what's actually going on.
Well, it's kind of like it's similar to what we're facing with website 1, where you make a change locally, but then you go to the site and you had just changed like the header of one page, but then you go there and you can't actually see the change. And we were like, a couple of times rebuilt the whole thing, and then you could see the change. But then that was the idea, was to add the volume so that it's kind of like keeps track between the changes you're making locally and the changes like to inside the container. So it's something similar, right? So like when you do yarn install, you're actually changing it inside the container as well, not just locally.
Yeah, but distinguish between a named volume and a synced volume. If you have a volume that specifies a local file path on your host machine, then you're syncing those two folders. If you have a named volume, that doesn't mean that you're syncing with the host. It actually means the opposite, right? So that particular folder will not get synced with your host system. You can have different dependencies on your host system and other dependencies in your container. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think someone joined us. It's Siri. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Siri, you're currently muted. Hello, Siri.
The wrong person on the channel. I wanted to invite him, but I invited someone else. And I can't remove someone on an open. Is there a way you can remove? There's a person.
It is absolutely okay to have Siri in this channel, I think. You're very welcome, Siri.
Thank you.
They can leave, Joseph, if they want to, but maybe the other Siri wants to be here as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's that thing where like Sam's greeting people like more than one time as well. That would be nice, like to fix on the bots.
All right, so Siri, you ended up at the regular meeting of RFM, which is short for Rundfunk mitbestimmen, which is this unpronounceable German name. Okay, it translates to co-determination or democracy in public broadcasting. Right? So it's an application. Maybe someone can send the link to the website into the chat window. Maybe Mike or Matt or Joseph, you want to send the link to the website. You can try it out. And it allows you to spend your broadcasting fees on, or distribute those fees on the content or on broadcast that you like, right? You have a selection of broadcasts. You can click on participate now, distribute your budget, and publish that data. And that might create an effect. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, and probably you don't know the system here in Germany or in Europe in general. In Europe, public broadcasting is very big. In Germany, the situation is that every home has to pay, no matter what.
Okay.
Right, so it's different, for example, from the US and different to other countries which don't have it.
Yep.
We have private corporations. Here we have public corporations. Public corporations that are for the society, for the state, for us all, let's say. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Maybe you want to, Siri, maybe you want just to share your screen and let us see what you're currently watching. If you, for example, check out the link that Joseph, Matt, and Mike has posted into the chat, I think it's easier to explain.
Okay, I can share my screen. Let me just, yeah. Do you guys see it?
Yes, so you're showing us the Hangout
Yep.
with ourselves.
So
that's
yeah.
the website, exactly.
The
So
website
it's
is there.
exactly, it's both in English and in German. And on the very top of the page, it says, spend your broadcasting fees. And you can click on this Participate Now button. That would bring you to another page where you can start to vote on things.
Okay.
Right? And the rest is like explanation. What is the difference to TV rankings? How is the situation right now? This is how the expenditure gets spent in reality. So as you can see,
Okay.
the biggest part is sport, because the licensing fees are so expensive. Just consider this money similar to tax money. It's not tax money, but since every home has to pay it, it's public money at least.
Okay.
Right? So maybe people should have a voice, how the expenditure gets spent. Well, that's the idea of this application. To give a proof of concept, how it could look like. There's some data. We have 900 currently registered users, and they voted on 400 and something, almost 500 broadcasts. And there you have this statistics tab where you can see the results.
Okay.
Maybe that also gives you an idea.
Yeah.
Now, this is not what I mean. If you go to the top menu, there has an item statistics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, and that will bring you to a table with some data. So each broadcast has a number of votes and a total amount. And there's this approval and on average thing, which for example means, okay, on average, people want to give 3 euros for Gute Arbeit Originals, third one.
Okay.
All right. And there's Faith. Hi, Faith. Faith just joined us. So Siri, does it make sense to you? Is it something that you have a rough idea of?
Not really.
Not really.
But, yeah, not really. But yeah, it's interesting. Maybe I can spend more time reading about it and trying to figure out what is behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have also the opportunity to talk to so many people in this meeting right now who were working with this application already.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, if you say it's not really clear to me what this is about, just feel free to ask us.
Of course, okay.
Right.
Maybe just to know what's the stack behind what languages,
Okay.
things like that.
If you're interested into the technology stack, you can click into the GitHub link, which is in the footer. That will bring you to our repository.
The repo. Okay, that's good.
And you should have an overview of the technology stack described in the README. If we really try to improve the README over and over, right? Yep. So it's great if you would read through the README and send us a message if there's something you don't understand, because we have to improve the README. Or even better, you could also click on this edit icon. Just edit the README.
Okay. Right? Yep.
There are community meetings, and there are some more diagrams that explain how the directory layout is, and there you can see our technology stack.
Yep.
So which frameworks are we most? Which are the frameworks, the biggest frameworks that we use here? Can you see the frameworks that we are using? Like
yeah. There's Ruby on Rails, Ember.js.
Exactly.
And Cucumber Capybara for testing.
Yeah, I was just asking if that catches your eye.
I'm interested in it.
Some question that everyone has who's checking out the repository for the first time. So you can give us feedback, live feedback, if you understand what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, you use Ruby on Rails on the backend.
Yes, we are using Ruby
and Ember.js for the front.
Exactly. So
I'm not very familiar of all those JS frameworks, but it's good to learn.
So which frameworks are you familiar with?
Actually, I'm working on Rails.
On Rails. I think we have we have so many Rails developers on Agile Ventures.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm also a Rails developer. I have a Rails developer background. Nowadays, I'm mostly writing JavaScript, but I was writing Ruby many years.
Okay.
And also RFM, the backend part at least, is a Rails app.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yeah. Like I think everyone on this call except for me, I don't know about Nicholas. I think is a Ruby developer.
I don't think Nick is a Ruby developer. Nick, are you still with us? Are you a Ruby developer?
Yeah, Nick's a Ruby developer.
Nick is also a Ruby developer.
Yeah.
He kicks ass Ruby.
Oh, I meant to say Daniel Kukula, not Nick. Yeah, Nick does the refactoring of.
Yeah.
And Daniel, are you a Ruby developer?
Yeah, I can do some stuff in Ruby.
Wow. Okay, it's just me then. All right. I don't feel bad. Yeah.
No, you don't have to.
I don't need Ruby. Yeah.
You're a Elixir developer though, Joseph.
Oh yeah. At least I have that.
Yeah, Elixir is pretty inspired by the Ruby syntax, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also interested in Elixir. Maybe you want to rewrite the backend stack with Elixir.
Oh, really? Yeah.
After we get done with the front end in React.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah, website one React.
Yeah.
Yes, and as you can see at Siri, we have use of test-driven development. And this is like a testing pyramid that we try to follow. So we have full stack tests, but we also have unit tests. We have unit tests in both repositories, and full stack testing tests the front end and back end simultaneously. So full stack testing is one test for both. That's why it's at the top. And that's why the rest of the pyramid is divided in half. Left the front end, on the right side you have the back end.
Okay.
And on the, let's say, the y-axis, you have two indicators. The more you go down, the faster the test gets in execution. That's what the rabbit is telling you.
Okay.
And on the right side, I'm trying to, what do you think what this is? Like, what does that mean? Maybe I can ask you before.
Right now, I'm asking myself about why you use controller specs and request specs, request test also at the same time. Because recently I read somewhere that they advise people to no longer use controller specs. I don't know if you take it in
Yeah, that's actually a good question. So maybe we should merge the requests and the controller tests on that side at least,
yeah,
because they are more or less doing the same thing.
Yeah.
The controller testing in Rails is the design of a controller test is testing internal behavior, and that's why people sometimes avoid controller tests in favor of request tests. But we have both. We have way more request specs than controller tests. Yeah, but what do you think? What does it mean on the right side, like the two symbols, like this one and this symbol here?
This one?
Yes.
This one I don't get it, but this one is stronger. I mean, the above one is stronger.
Yeah.
Showing muscles.
Yeah. So what I was trying to say with that symbol, and apparently I kind of failed, but now I'm telling what the message is.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yes, Joseph, maybe you want to tell us what this is about.
Yeah, so I can do the left-hand side first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the left-hand side, we have a rabbit. It shows that doing unit testing is fast.
Faster?
Yeah, so it's not slow. But as you go up and the more you write integrations, acceptance tests, and now the full stack testing now with Capybara, it's really slow because you are testing like everything, the back-end endpoints to the front end, if they are communicating to each other clearly. No mocking stuff there.
Yes. So that's a disadvantage, right? Full stack tests are rather slow. So what's the advantage of having a full stack test then? Why do we have it after all if unit tests are so great and so fast in execution?
Well, the strength there, it gives you a web application or application. Okay, I don't know.
It gives you more confidence when they are passing the full stack test.
Yeah, the full stack. If you test everything, you get more confidence, and you show that you go through all the different stacks of your application.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe make
from
like
end to end.
Yeah. So it's exactly. So Daniel knows the answer. The icons on the right side, they should symbolize confidence. And now I'm thinking of maybe just writing confidence on this arrow, you know?
Yeah, or someone just walking with his like hands in the pocket and looking up to the sky. Walking with confidence.
Yeah. That's also good. Maybe we should put speed on the left side and confidence on the right side. So this is just getting unambiguous.
Yep.
Now, Siri.
Yeah.
You can easily create your first contribution.
Okay.
Because what you're seeing here is an SVG file. And I think SVG.
SVG, okay.
And I think we have it checked into our repository. Can you double check if we have an SVG file in the repository. Maybe you can scroll a little bit up. See if we have it. Yeah, if we have it in the top root folder, I think it should be in documentation/images. Yeah, this folder, documentation/images.
Okay, this one, process.
Okay, so now this is the SVG file for the process, but what I was looking for is the testing pyramid, so I have to do it. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry. There's just the PNG file and you cannot edit it.
Yeah, okay.
What a pity. However, maybe you can create an issue for it so we can keep track of it. Tell right into the issue that we could add an improvement to the README by labeling the left and right side of this testing pyramid thing. Yeah, feature request maybe. And yeah, just explain what we discussed like the minutes before. And in the meantime, let's continue, I would say.
Okay.
Let you type in. And maybe we can continue with, I don't know, who wants to continue?
I don't have anything to really report. Haven't been working on RFM.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
I just like the meetings.
Yeah, that is no problem at all. I'm always saying it is a volunteered project and we are grateful for every person who's interested in, and you should not feel bad about not having done anything. That is perfectly fine. I haven't done anything this week either. For one reason, because I was ill on the weekend. For another reason, because I'm also very, very busy with my actual work.
Yeah.
So,
Mike and I talked about working on the D3 stuff, but it's just finding time. Like we did a quick pairing session on NHS Wiki before this, and yeah, next week we're doing a full week sprint on the React front end for website 1.
So Mike, you were working with. So Matt, you just said you would try to have a pairing on the D3 thing.
We talked about it.
You talked about pairing on the D3 thing.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Do you
got.
want me to talk once again about the feature or the bug or the refactoring that you wanted to pair on? Maybe someone else in this meeting is maybe interested in D3. Maybe Siri or Daniel is interested in D3. Does anybody know what a D3 is actually? Daniel and Siri, do you know what D3 is? And if you don't know, maybe Matt, you can explain it.
No, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know very much about D3, so that's the thing is like need to kind of have a look at the documentation or I guess we talked about, maybe it was last week we talked, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about maybe going through some of the, like Free Code Camp has like a whole like series of things on D3 where you actually build some little projects, and we had talked about doing that as well. It's just, yeah, it's just the timing, you know.
Yeah. An image says more than 1,000 words. So maybe you would just want to show us an image on a website.
I can do that.
D3 has an amazing selection of examples, what you can do with it. And with Siri and Daniel and Kate also, or Joseph and Mike or Nick, they can all have a look and see why D3 is so amazing. There's so many examples of D3 out there. It is just absolutely mind-blowing. So D3 is a data visualization library written in JavaScript. And you can manipulate, yes, D3, data-driven documents. You can manipulate an SVG file, which is an image, and then you see something like that. So each of those, yeah, here we have the example. So each of those is a data visualization of some sort. Yeah, and there's the code.
We're just trying to do like, it's just adding it to like the legends, no?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a similar bubble chart on RFM. And you can see sizes. Each of those bubbles has a different size. You have a different color and you have a label. But D3 takes care of layouting this whole stuff, right? So you have some data. In our case, we have a collection of broadcasts. And what we are trying to show here is a trend. So all the blue ones didn't really change a lot, but the blue, the green and the red broadcasts, they changed in the last 3 months because they either had more people voting for it and distributing their broadcasts to it, and the red ones are losing people who want to support this show, right? So you can see here that it's actually quite easy to spot those. That's why we're using the data visualization here. Does it make sense? Why are we using data visualizations? It's amazing, isn't it? People are always afraid to say something. Well, this looks more colorful, I have to admit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, people.
Maybe we can also improve the diagram or this chart a little bit and make it more colorful on RFM. Maybe this threshold, the interpolation of colors is not good enough. So maybe we want to have more variation. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like this one changed from 7 to 10, but it's still not like there's only one pink one, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe you want to use a logarithmic scale instead of linear. You know, logarithmic is a bit different and might be better for this.
That is awesome. Yes, absolutely. Yes, maybe let's do that. We can have a look into the code where this bubble chart lives. Maybe Matt, you want to show us the code so everyone can see the file where we would have to change the scale and try with it, play with it. Sorry. So now you're using your editor, but it's just the same directory layout as on GitHub.
yeah, but that's no fun.
Do you think GitHub is not fun?
It's more fun to open the editor, isn't it? I'm not on the right branch, but it doesn't really matter right now, does it?
Right, so Siri, so here you can see a cucumber test, by the way. So Matt was apparently working on cucumbers. Cucumber tests is a self-documenting testing framework, right? You can get a description of the user stories and the features of our application in our code, which is awesome. We have executable documentation. So now, please, Matt, tell us where you're going. It's important for the others to see where those files are located.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know, but I think it's in the front end, in app, and in maybe templates, visualize, and then we have different visualizations. That one is the time. No. What was it? Visualization time.
Yeah, that's an important information. You can go by the URL and then map that to the directory layout, because the pages, they're corresponding with the file, with the directory layout. So everything /visualized /something will also be in that folder here.
So if I change this to diff, this will go to a different.
Exactly. This will go to another page.
Cool.
All right.
Then there's index and there's progress. I would imagine it would go to index first, but what would progress be?
Yeah, so that is if you click on one of those bubbles. So the
Yeah.
idea was, if you click on one of those bubbles, then you get to the details page of the broadcast.
Ah,
and
yes.
then you would see that one. By the way,
this is how I found the first thing to work on for RFM was like one of these. I think like, hooray, you found a missing feature.
yeah.
Free open source software depends on your contribution. And like there's a smiley face as well. That's awesome. And then I like as well, like Robert, you're always pointing this out, you know, about how you don't have to even be a developer to contribute, you know.
Exactly. There's so many things how you can contribute. How do you pronounce contribute, by the way? Do you say contribute or contribute?
I say contribute.
Contribute.
How do you say it?
Do something with tribute. No, I was on a meetup yesterday. I was at the open source diversity meetup here in Berlin, and one of the participants said contribute, and I was like, probably he's right. Maybe contribute is the proper way of pronouncing it because it has something to do with tribute.
So this would be a component, though, right?
Yeah. So maybe you want to explain the difference between like how it works. This nesting of components and pages. Where can you see a component in the file here?
So I think probably there's a component here in this in these handlebars.
Yes, so that's Handlebars Syntax. Handlebars is a templating language, the templating language used by Ember.js. I think that's not new to anyone who was joining our regular meetings last times, but Siri, I guess for you the syntax is different because you're a Rails developer. As you can see, we have Haml here, but we have these curly braces. And on line, for example, line 11, we have a component, which is rendering a component at that location. Okay, it will produce HTML, but it will be rendered on the front end, on the client's browser. Does that make sense? Siri, are you still with us?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
So the JavaScript, so Ember.js compiles down to JavaScript. This will be pushed to the client. The browser will render the component locally in the browser.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And this legend is one piece of the page that you're seeing there. And you see here the template, which is actually quite empty. It has only some paragraphs. And then you have
the component,
a legend area, which this is the anchor for rendering the SVG. Okay. Each template file has a corresponding JavaScript file. In other languages, in other frameworks like React or Vue.js, you have both in one file. For Ember.js, you have two files. Each component has a template, what you currently see, and a JavaScript part. And you can see the JavaScript part if you go into the folder components. But it's just the same directory layout. So you go to components, visualize, and then bubble chart legend. All right. This is where you would look for. And there you can see what's going on. There's this component, and it has some properties like a height and a width. How do you pronounce height and width? Is it the correct pronunciation, Matt?
Yeah, height and width. Yeah.
Height and width. And there's this method.
You don't have to care about the pronunciation.
I'm always trying to improve.
Yeah. For the information, I'm French spoken. So
oh, nice.
That's why my English is so bad.
No, your English is not bad at all.
Not bad. Yeah, and we know like French also as bonjour. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you also live in France?
No, I live in Senegal, West Africa.
Yes. Because if you would live in France, you would have the same situation, the same problem that this application is trying to suggest a solution for. Okay. Because they also have it. It's not that strict that everybody has to pay, even if you don't ever use it. But they have these public operations there also. And they also just have TV rankings for evaluation and nothing else. They don't use any kind of public feedback for improvements. Yeah, but the SVG gets rendered as soon as the component gets rendered. You have this method static, but this is just a custom method. There are some lifecycle hooks. If you further scroll down a little bit, then you see that, yeah, further down, there's some methods that have specific names. And those names get rendered, for example, when the component template got rendered, right? Did render, line 109. This will trigger a method call, static and continuous, which is like, let's say, a private method of that component, similar to object-oriented programming. All right? And there you can see that we even have this get color scale. Apparently, there's somewhere a color scale property, which you could override in order to make this color scale logarithmic. Where does the color scale come from? There we go. Oh no, that's an argument. No. No. I think we should have it somewhere, no?
It's not going to be in this file because you're doing like get. So it's probably somewhere else outside. That's why you're doing a get to get it into this file.
Where do you see the get? Yes.
This.get color scale.
Oh, here, yeah.
Yeah, this .get is a getter. So Ember works like getters and setters, and we have somewhere we set those things. Maybe this property gets passed to you, so you can pass properties to a component. Probably the color scale gets passed to the legend somewhere.
Deep pink, light blue, light green.
So it's different. It's a computed property. But there you can see, you can scale this thing with a logarithmic scale, I guess.
It is setting it here. Oh, no, this test. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it is possible. All right, enough talk about that. But thanks, Matt, for showing us, giving us a quick introduction into, well, handlebars, components, D3. D3 is really amazing. I absolutely advise you to check it out. It is not that difficult, and it's just amazing what you can do with it.
Joseph was showing us something because he's gonna do like what is it called, like V something with, it's like React and D3. VX or something like that, but then he didn't want to do that, so he's doing it with what's the name of it, Joseph?
It's called, we were asking about the library I'm going to use.
Yeah, for the AV dashboard.
React. Oh, it's called Nevo. So
do you know?
I can post it there.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like,
still sharing.
It's awesome. Yeah, so it's a wrapper to D3, so you don't have to like write a lot of code. Yeah, so like how your guys are doing, even with like it has already like done all the stuff, so you just pass in the data the way they specify, and then everything is like,
yeah, maybe this is also interesting for us. We use another wrapper. We use high charts for everything that is just boilerplate data visualization. So I would use it like the following. We're using high charts for everything that's normal data visualization, like a bar chart, a pie chart, whatever. And for everything special, we are using D3 directly. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yep.
that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, yesterday we got another issue. Can someone else become the driver now? Maybe Faith? Faith, are you still with us? Faith? Probably she doesn't hear us. Maybe she has left for a minute. Mike, yesterday at the Open Source Diversity Meetup, someone created a new issue. I would like you to ask if you could open your browser and show us the issue on the website, on the repository. Mike is also not very responsive. Maybe Nick. Nick?
I think it hits the...
Yes, Nick.
What's going on?
What do you want?
What do you want? No, I want to make people more proactive, you know. And I'm sometimes a little bit afraid that people.
You have all these viewers and nobody is responding, eh?
No, it's no problem. I just have sometimes the feeling that I put people asleep, and I don't want people asleep, especially when I'm talking for a long time.
I have that same feeling. I'm always putting Faith to sleep whenever I start talking.
Okay. I want to bring one more thing up. Yesterday, this issue that was created, which is a nice beginner-friendly issue. And I would like to ask anybody, maybe you, Nick, to show us the issue on a repository.
Alrighty. Let me.
And maybe you want to share your screen.
No.
No.
Oh, hold on. Give me a minute. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, so you can see it now?
Yes.
All right.
And maybe you want to show us the latest issue. That's the one.
Oh, we're not there?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she didn't respond yet. So I asked her to add some more detail to it, because I think from the text you don't immediately get what was going on. Or do you?
I don't know. When she says images, I'm not quite sure.
Steps to reproduce. Just go to the web page.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm on the web page. What does it say? What page I should be on?
No, so that's some very important detail that she might have given us, but unfortunately she didn't.
Do we know this person? Oh, this is the
I
first.
know this person. I met this person in yesterday.
Okay.
Here in Berlin. So I'm now explaining what was happening. I was showing to her this website. She was interested in learning programming and contributing to open source projects. So I was telling her about RFM. So what was happening was that she was using her tablet, and she was on this page here. All right. This is the overview page of RFM.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she was interested into these charts, and she tried to zoom into those charts.
Oh. Yeah.
But those charts are actually previews.
Because they're just static.
You can click on them, and then the magic happens.
Oh, okay.
You see the problem?
Yeah.
And there's the actual chart, and then it's much better to read.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that is the issue. Maybe someone can add more detail to it after I explain it. And also think about the solution, how we can make it more understandable, how more user-friendly on the subpage to explain to people that you can actually click on it. It's a static image. You can just click on it. You don't have to zoom into this image, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it helps when you're in the browser because the cursor changes, but I guess in mobile it doesn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. On mobile, it doesn't do it because you don't have an on-hover event.
So you should.
Nicholas, it's on the visualization diff page if you're
Okay.
which is the expected versus actual, and it is in the header of the issue. I didn't mention that.
But we have a mobile view, yeah, on this page.
Yeah, the page is responsive. So
okay. So when it's responsive, maybe you should disable zooming.
Yeah, but maybe we want to think about just not using images at all as a preview, but something that immediately is, you can see it's a link, you know? So if you click on expected versus actual now, so people might not even click on these images now. I don't know if they would, but if you now click on expected versus actual, you get to the page where she was trying to zoom into the visualizations. It's the top left.
Yeah.
So this is the page where she was trying to.
Oh, I see. So she got to this page and then she didn't realize that she had to click again.
Exactly. She was thinking this is the.
That actually makes sense because after I click, I mean, I would think if I click on here, it's going to take me to this graph here, but instead I've got more clicks to do.
Maybe we just want to put both on one page. If you click on group by media, maybe it's enough if we would put one visualization and the other one below. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps like expected versus actual, and then break it up by media or by the actual. Yeah, that's part.
Do you see the problem here?
Or make the headers like somehow clickable. Because they don't look like links, you know, it just looks like a picture. I think there's not so much on this page. Like you could just have the entire.
Yeah, I think so too. And that should be quite easy to do. So what I'm going to do now is to label this issue as beginner friendly. And as long as we have more detail.
I wonder how other websites handle this issue on mobile phones.
It's I would say it's all about testing, reiterating, redesigning, testing again. Don't think there's a silver bullet solution for this.
Okay.
It's difficult though because like you do it like, you know, having one person like have trouble with it is not really, you know, there could be, you know, 20 people that don't have trouble with it and one person that does, but you happen to run into that one person with it, and then you make changes maybe unnecessarily, you know.
Yeah, this is correct. So maybe it's not very representative. Maybe she's not representative to so many people, but actually in that particular case, I think it makes totally sense to like not understand that you have to click one more time, right?
Yeah.
And yes, of course, usually you would have to do an A/B test if you have really many users, like thousands of users, which we don't have for RFM. Then you could do an A/B test, and you could, for example, compare two different features, or test the feature that you're going to implement with the status quo. What we're not able to do A/B, we're not able to run A/B tests because we are lacking users. All right.
Did we tell you that we're using semantic UI for the website one front end?
Seriously?
Yeah, we're using semantic UI in React, you know.
Fair enough. Do you like semantic UI?
I was just remembering that you said that you might not choose it again if you had to choose over, but we kind of had a talk. Like I think Daniel, Joseph, me, and I don't know if there were other people there. I can't remember. Maybe Mike or Faith were there, and we kind of talked about it. And we ended up. Did we just choose by who had the most stars or something? I don't think so, because we would have chose Bootstrap. We kind of eliminated Bootstrap, and then we chose who had the most stars, I think.
Oh, okay. So what was the reason for eliminating Bootstrap?
We're just tired of it, you know.
Yeah, people are ditching Bootstrap just because they are tired.
I mean, there's the thing about wanting to be able to use cards, and like Bootstrap doesn't have cards apparently, or something.
Matt, do you want us to show? Could you please show us semantic UI, just the website, so people can get an understanding? I think there's several people in here who still don't know what semantic UI is and how that relates to RFM. I think Nick and Daniel and Siri, they all don't know semantic UI. Or do you, Siri, Daniel, Nick?
I heard about it last time when I was on an interview, and after that I go check it on the website. Yeah, but I never use it.
I think Daniel's familiar, and Faith was here when we talked about the material UI, material versus semantic versus what was it? Material? I don't know.
Yeah, we have several CSS frameworks, or let's say CSS specifications. Material UI is more like a specification, not a real framework. There are many frameworks for material design. Both of them are equally bad. I think none of them is doing the job right. But anyway, and semantic UI is a CSS framework, and the big selling point of semantic UI is human readable CSS classes. So another frame, for example, in Bootstrap, you would have button hyphen primary, and then button whatever, button circular, and you have all those three together. While in semantic UI, I would just say primary circular button. Three different CSS classes, but they all go together. If they are all combined, they make a circular primary button. Well, okay, so we're making heavy use of semantic UI, and we're trying to stick as much as we can to the CSS framework. Yes?
So when you change the order from circular primary button to button circular primary, does it still work?
The order has an impact sometimes. So order is important. But in that particular case, it would not make any difference. So if you say circular primary button or primary circular button, that doesn't make any difference. But you can, for example, we have sometimes a specification how large a particular component is on different screen sizes. Matt, could you be so kind and search for, like in your editor, I don't know where we have it, but it should be in the code. Could you please search for the words maybe just computer or mobile in the front end folder? Yes, so there's one example, index HBS. 4 white computer, yeah. This is how you would read it. Computer and tablet, only 4 white column. So that means it's only visible on computer and tablets. And there it would have 4 columns. So the width would be 4 columns. You have 16 columns for the entire screen size. And on computer and tablet, you take 4, and that would be your width. While if it's not computer or tablet, it is 8 columns, because that's on 64. Or is it something else? Ah, no, I see it. No, it's a trick. It's a trick. So since this is only visible for computer and tablet, it is empty, but it takes up 4 columns. And on a mobile, it's just not there. It's not visible, and the rest, this 8 wide column, just takes the rest of the space. Does that make sense? Mike, did you get it at least?
Yeah. I was still loading my brain component. So
yeah, but
do you see like people nowadays use pagination and not like the infinite scroll?
if people nowadays use pagination or infinite scroll,
They use pagination nowadays more than infinite scroll.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know. I thought the trend was still going to infinite scroll.
No, for user experience, it's not that good today.
Yeah, I can give you a demo actually. You come here to the members page, and then we have infinite scroll on the members, and then you scroll down, and then you scroll down, and 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 just like we'll be here tomorrow when you get to the end of it. And then also you can't deep link to like a specific group of users, and if you want to back to the top, you need to like come over here and pull it over.
What happens if you want to go to the footer? If you have infinite scroll, this footer at least should be sticky.
Yeah.
You cannot click on the footer here. That's pretty bad, but you can fix it very easily. Just use sticky footer.
We're in the React front end. We're just doing pagination.
Yeah. I mean, pagination. Keep it simple, stupid. Many times. The most simple solutions are the most easy solutions. Okay, I think we're progressing with the time, and
yes.
I was bringing up. I think, how many issues did I bring up? The refactoring of D3, the validation errors, the issue that was just created with these preview images. Also, maybe Joseph, can you give us an update? I think you were also working on the consent component. Is there any update from your side regarding that? Did you send us a work in progress pull request? Send us a work in progress?
No, I think I should do that.
Yes.
Yeah, let me see. Do I have a work in progress? I haven't worked on it since the last meeting.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, but send us a work in progress pull request. Why? Why is it important to send a work in progress pull request? What is the advantage of sending it?
So we can look at your code during meetings.
Exactly, that would be one advantage. What is another advantage?
People can see that you've been working on the issue.
Yes. There's more to it. What do? Okay, I'm just saying it. So someone could also continue with your work. So that's one very big advantage. And second, you get early feedback. Well, that's more or less the same as we can look onto your code in meetings. So these are the most important things. You get early feedback, and other people can continue on your work. So if you're just working on your laptop alone and you already went some steps into a direction, maybe other people can just go the rest for you. Okay, Joseph? So I would ask you maybe to send us a work in progress pull request. It can be there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just send us the code, and maybe people can take it over. Or you continue with it. Also possible.
Yeah, because it's just the CSS.
No problem.
Yeah, just the CSS is what's still blocking FAQ from being merged in.
All right, yeah, we still have FAQ. Somebody has to has to bridge it. And maybe we want to have a component specific CSS. That's also something we have to install. Okay, I will make a list. Who wants to tackle which issue? Is there someone here who would say, I'm interested into that particular issue, or I want to assign myself to that issue? Shall I do the list again?
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
So let's say hypothetically someone forgets to like create a branch, and then he works on master, and then now he wants to create a branch but not lose the changes. What might that person do?
So
Has the person committed?
Not yet.
The stash?
I don't think so. He just opened the project and then he saw like he has like files changed, and then he's like on master branch and he doesn't know like what to do now.
Then you create a new branch, and then you can add the files there if you haven't committed them to other branch.
Oh, it's not me. Yeah, but I'll like that's.
Maybe you can give us an example. Can you please show us your terminal and make a quick example? You could create a new repository and do some commits and just change one file, for example.
Well, let's say, for example, I open RFM and just edit some file. Let me do that quick. Boom, I've done that now. And then I notice, oh my God, I was working on the master branch, as you can see here.
Yes.
And my changes here. So how do I check out?
Yes, so it's never a problem if you forgot to change the branch. You can always switch to another branch or create another branch afterwards. That is no problem at all. So it happens to me all the time. I'm committing to master a feature branch and make a pull request from that. No problem. So just, for example, add everything now. If you commit now and you created a commit here, yes, you can, for example, just say git add everything and commit to master. Is everyone understanding the problem?
But do you want?
Is still browsing but Daniel, Siri, and Mike, do you see what's Joseph's problem?
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens sometimes that you open you clone a new repo, and yeah, sometimes you see by error that there is a file on stage that you need to, either you stash it, or maybe in some repos you need just to git ignore those files because it's not files that used to be on public repository.
Yes. Actually, you don't have to use stash or git ignore at all, right? You should only use git ignore for files that you really don't want to track. If you just made a change by accident on the wrong branch, don't worry. You can always create a new branch. So what I would do now is, oh, damn it, I just committed to master, but I want to create a feature branch. So you can create a feature branch with no problem. You just say git checkout -b. The -b is short for branch. So git checkout -b creates a new branch. And then you give it a name, the name of your feature branch. For example, Joseph, what is a good idea for a name? It was so hard naming. Inventing a branch name. It's really a difficult.
Joseph, think faster, because otherwise Federico will complain that the video is so long.
Yeah. Guys, I've got to drop off because I have a client meeting in an hour.
No problem. No problem.
Some coding.
Okay, so I'm giving you a suggestion. Maybe you want to call it YouTube_Twitter_blur.
Oh yeah. Underscore or hyphen?
Up to you. Up to you. Underscore makes it one word. Hyphen makes it several words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using Alt B and Alt E to switch between, to jump between words. And if you use a hyphen, it will jump one word. While if you make underscores, you'll jump the entire branch name. Okay, that's a nice branch name.
Right,
Yes. And if you hit enter, that will do the following. It will create a new branch, and it will create a new branch originating from your current commit. If you say git log, if you say, for example, git log now, then you can see that the commit F50D something is on your current branch and your local master, while the origin master is still on the former commit 211 something.
Yep.
Do you see the difference of origin/master and the local master? Who can see the difference? Maybe Joseph, you want to highlight it with your mouse. Where do you see those names?
So my head is on and master is now in this commit.
Yes, but your head is pointing to YouTube Twitter blur, not master.
What?
Your head, this one, is pointing to that branch.
And also master.
No, no, the head is pointing to a branch name, and then you have a number of branch names pointing to the commit.
Oh, okay.
So on the right side, next to the commit, you see the number, and there's like an array of branch names or references. This could also be a git tag. So who has heard about git tags before?
No.
No.
Git tag is an additional feature of Git, and people use it to indicate a version that was released. Okay, if you has become a standard on GitHub. If you release a new version, you give it a tag with the respective version, for example 001, and add that as a tag. It's also just a name for a commit. It's a name for one very commit. And the branch name is nothing else but also reference for a commit. So YouTube Twitter blur and master, they are two references, both pointing to the commit. And Joseph is currently, his head is currently pointing to YouTube Twitter blur, this branch. Think of the difference between branches and git tags, that branches, if you commit to a branch, the branch increments and the git tag stays the same. The git tag will always stay associated with the respective commit. Okay? Branches move when you commit. So now you have two branches. One is called YouTube Twitter blur. One is your local master. Both are pointing to the same commit. Now, what you want to do now is you bring your local master back to the state of the origin master, right? You want to bring master, the green master at the top right corner. You want to push it down to the origin master. That's what you want. Does it make sense?
Yep.
And that's actually possible. Very easy. You can, for example, go check out the master branch again. And say git log. Now your head is pointing to master. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. And if you now say git reset origin/master, it will reset the index of your local branch to the commit which origin master is at currently. And if you say git reset origin / master - hard, it will also revert all the changes on your file system, on your working directory, right? So if you say, I don't know what you did right now, but maybe you can say git status just to have a look. Okay, everything is fine, but you're still ahead of origin / master. So you didn't say git reset yet.
Yeah.
So you can say git reset origin / master. That will reset your local master to the origin master. All right. Is everyone on the same page now? Does anybody, do you understand what's going on here?
If I do git reset, I'm going
Yeah.
to take the commit, the head commit in the origin and have it be my head.
Yes, you can actually say enter now and then quickly say git status and git log to see the difference. So git status, there's your new the files, the changed files as before. And if you say git log, then you can see that the master and the origin master are on the same commit now. That's what we want. And if you can, for example, now also revert the changes if you want. You can say git reset origin / master - hard. That will like make those changes go away.
Like that, and then now I'll not see my changes.
Exactly, but you don't lose them. You only remove them from your file system for the master branch. Now, if you say git status, the changes are gone. Well, except for untracked files, by the way, because they are untracked. But the changes, the edits, they are gone. But if you now check out the YouTube-Twitter-blur branch, all the changes are back again.
Yeah, git check out. But when I try to it was YouTube.
Yeah, maybe we get some error notification because the untracked files might get overwritten. Okay, in that case, you can say git clean -d and f. So git clean removes untracked files. Yes. Then you will lose the untracked files.
What does df mean?
Directory. So direct is like recursively deleting files, and F is for force.
rm command.
Yeah. So doing that will remove those two files. And if you check out the branch now, we will see no error messages.
Yeah, actually that's nice because usually I would come like here to git and just do like revert changes.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Awesome.
So if you now check out the branch, you have the same changes back again. Now, if you say git status, I don't know what you did, but I think you just added one or removed one line maybe. Yeah, now if you say git log, you can see the exact desired result. You have this commit F50 something, so the commit is not lost, it's just on another branch. And your master and your origin master is back on where you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and you could now create your feature branch, push your feature branch upstream. You could, for example, push it, create a work in progress pull request, up to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that was that is also useful for you, Daniel, and Siri.
Siri, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Cool. All right. I think it's time. Is there anything, do you have any more questions? Siri, Daniel, Joseph, Mike?
For me, I don't have anything except that I've learned like a lot about Git, because I usually know like Git push, Git pull, yeah, and force push minus F. I can survive those two. I don't I don't know a lot.
Yeah, you can do a force push. I know force push is dangerous, but what you can do is to protect your master branch for a force push. So GitHub will reject any force pushes to master. That will give you some security, but it is fine to use force push, I would say, right? Because I can handle Git and I know pretty much what I'm doing. And if you know what you're doing, it's fine to use force push. But since you are changing the upstream branch, you should definitely go and tell your team or anyone who might work on the pull request that you just force pushed. And tell your team members to reset to the upstream branch, just as you did here with the master branch. Yeah? So people would fetch the new commits, and then they would reset their local branches to the upstream branch. It's basically just the same thing, exactly what you did here with master. People would then do if you force push to a branch. Just tell them, be communicative. Tell them what you did, because they might get confused with what's going on.
Yeah, I think also can you like remove people from pushing directly to master, cause so there was like a pull request that was raised, and then we have like before you merge, you need to like have 2 reviews and circle CI needs to pass, right? Before you can get the button.
Yeah, there are more security measures to it. You can either say don't allow force pushes. You can also say don't allow merge requests before all changes or checks have passed. That's all possible.
Yeah, so that was there, but after like there was a merge conflict on that PR, and then when I went on and that, so it told me to go to master to on my machine like Bash. I checked out to master. I fixed the merge conflict, and then I pushed master up, and the pull request was automatically merged.
Oops. Yeah, probably you pushed the wrong branch.
You know, I pushed the code from master because the pull request was merging that branch to master. And then there was merge conflict, so I had to resolve the merge conflicts locally.
Yeah, if you merge a feature branch into master,
yeah,
and then you resolve the merge conflicts in master, and then you push to master, all pull requests with that feature branch will be closed immediately because there's nothing to merge anymore.
Yeah, but the tests were not passing, so it overrode that.
Then you have a problem. If you don't allow force pushes to master, then you have to revert the commits, that is adding commits on top that are reverting the old commits, right?
Yeah.
Push that, because you're not allowed to remove commits from master. If you're not allowed to force push to master, you're not allowed to remove commits.
Awesome. Cool. That would be all for me. I don't know if anyone else has any question.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any more questions from Daniel, Siri, or Mike, for example? Mike was very quiet today.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. Yeah, I think I'll try push that ticket.
And is there any way, because what I often find, I have problem with Git. Let's say I work on a feature, I have a branch, But then when I work on the next feature, I always forgot, to switch first to develop and then create a new branch. But, I start from the other one. And, from the beginning, I'll have the changes. So then I have to do a commit to remove the changes. And is there any way to, rebase this branch?
Yes, exactly. You're doing the right word. Shall I do this quick? Are you still interested? Because I could make this tutorial, for example, on my machine.
Yeah, sure. That's because I have it.
All right. So what you're talking about is, let's create a dummy repository. And then say git init, right? So now we have a commit, a repository in here. And what you're talking about is you have a file and you say hello MD, for example, and this is hello world. All right, now you're creating a commit. Oops, git commit. Oh, git commit and say initial commit. That would be your master, okay? Now you change the file, you create a feature branch, change the file, feature branch 1, and add that, commit number 2 maybe, and then you check out another branch. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Then hello MD, and then you have one more change.
Yeah. So. Now he was saying now because he's on the third commit now, like he didn't want to have the changes in the second, like in the prior branch that he was in. He wants to have the changes in.
Oh, this is how our log looks like. We have master on the first commit. We have feature branch on the second commit. We have feature branch 2 on the third commit, right?
Can you show it as a tree?
Yes, git log. Okay. It's not looking that nicely, but
okay, yeah, but
this is the what's that? Okay. Git log add dog. 1. Aha, okay. Yeah, I'm using always this memo. There's this nice Stack Overflow link that I'm always referring to. Oh no. Maybe DuckDuckGo is not able to find it.
It's actually fine because it's showing one line cause.
Yeah, it's one line, so we don't have, it's not divided yet.
Not yet, yeah. But I want to show you the Stack Overflow link. So Siri, I'm looking for. I can never remember the correct the command that's showing me a nice visualization. Why is my computer so slow? My computer's really slow. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Probably because of Hangouts. I have some problems as well with this sometimes.
Pretty good branch graph. Yes, that's the one. Okay, this is why I'm always thinking of a dog. Git log all decorate one line graph, right? And that gives you this nice representation. So they are all in one line, as you said. Feature branch 2, feature branch there, and then master. And what you want is to start feature branch from here and branch feature branch right from master, but don't have that commit
exactly
in feature branch 2, right?
Yep.
So, and that's actually possible. What you can say is, or what I would do now is just make sure that you are on feature branch 2, and then you can say git rebase, and you want to rebase on master, right? Because master is this commit here. Okay, rebasing means rebase on that commit, and you can rebase interactively and edit all the commits above this commit, all the commits that are descending from this commit here. So this commit and this commit, and we just want to remove that one. Okay, and I'm using -I. Right, so this here is important. -I is short for interactive, right? Interactive rebasing is awesome, right? You can also do, if you have a remote repository, you can say origin master, but we don't have it here because it's just locally on my machine. So git rebase --interactive rebase. So that gives me this editor here. And I can see that I can edit those 2 commits, right?
Yeah.
I can have many things. What I can do now, I can just pick them. That's like the default, just take it. We can reword it, like edit the commit message. I can edit the commit. I would then stop and it could add more changes to the commit. I can also combine several commits. That's what they call to squash a commit. So if I would do this, then those 2 commits would go together. That's not what I want to do. Instead, I can just remove the commit. I can either say drop, or you can also just remove it, just remove the line that has the same behavior. All right?
Okay.
And I keep commit number 3, right? Okay, now I have a conflict because something has changed. Both commits have changed that file, but that's okay. I can see what's the matter. And yeah, so feature branch, well, this commit here was adding these 2 lines, and that's what I want. So I'm saying that. And I say git rebase, continue. There's commit 3, and I just want to take it. Now, I'm on feature branch 2. And I can see we have the initial commit, and we have commit number 3. Right? There's no commit 2 now.
Yeah. So what if you show the tree? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's what we want.
Exactly.
And we did run into the into the conflict only because I was editing the same file. Usually it is, if you want to do that, then you have been editing different files. If that situation occurs and you want to split those 2 branches, usually those 2 are not related to each other. That's why you want to split them in the first place, you know? That's your motivation. Yeah. So it should never happen that you run into the conflict that I was running into right now, because we're not editing the same files anyways.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Why is the arrow there in the tree not pointing? It's pointing from 98 commit, the 98 to 15 instead of like B3 to 98.
So my head is here, and head is pointing to feature branch 2. That's my current branch. It tells me feature branch 2 is my current branch.
Okay.
And that's just a name for a commit. That's the name. That's one name for 987AF. But I'm not on this branch at all. I'm here.
Oh, so 155 is the master. Oh, actually, I was looking at it like flipped down.
Yeah. No, that's not how it works. There's always one commit. That's the initial commit. It's a single commit. That's the root of all evil.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that 155 commit is the feature branch tool.
No. That's the master.
Oh yeah.
And which one is B3B? Is that not master?
No,
That is not master. No. If I switch to master, looks like that. Okay, so this is showing me everything, but yeah, on master, I have only this commit. Master is here. The branch master has only one commit. Then I have two branches, and each of those has one commit more than the master has. So this is having both commits. This feature branch is having these two commits, but the master just has this commit.
So that means we read this graph from bottom up.
Yeah, so we start here and we go from the bottom to the top. Is there something like reverse maybe? No. Cannot combine reverse with graph. So apparently this graph thing is requiring the direction, the flow from commits from bottom to the top of your terminal. Okay, fair enough. I don't know if I have Git Kraken here. No, because there's some maybe Git up desktop. No, sometimes they have an amazing visualization of this Git graph in certain GUIs. Git visualization. Here we have command visualizing branch topology in Git.
Yeah, with the D3 you can do this with D3.
Okay. Nice. What is this? So I just said git k, and that's opening a visual thing, which apparently comes with when you install Git. Let's check out feature branch 2. Let's say git k. Okay, so I can see here the topology, feature branch, and master. Can I also switch branches here? I don't know, but never mind. I'm using the command line anyways. Okay, I don't know how this works, but I know how the terminal works. It's the most important part. Okay, but you see, did you understand what I was doing? Do you get it?
Yeah, exactly what I wanted.
Cool.
Sam's gonna be happy with my next, PRs. Probably will be half, shorter normally.
Yeah, and Siri, did you learn something? Was it helpful for you, or was it too long? I'm trying to
Yeah. Of course, because we have I personally have a bit to learn about Git stuff, because as you say, we only use basic stuff on Git.
I'm really suggesting to use Git on the command line. As soon as you understand what Git is about, and as soon as you understand the vocabulary, as soon as you know what's the repository, what's the branch, what is the commit, what is a remote, as soon as you understand what's going on there, I would suggest you to use the command line, because that will ultimately help you to understand the deep concepts of Git. When you do it for some time, you really get a profound understanding of what's going on. And it's actually amazing. It's so deterministic. You know absolutely what you're doing. And you can, just use the command line. It's really, you will learn a lot.
Okay.
I learned everything just by doing it and using the command line for it.
Yeah.
Graphical tools are nice. I don't say don't use a graphical tool. It's great to get a feeling for it, to see the topology. But once you get once you have an understanding of it, you can switch to the command line and be happy and have superpowers.
Yes.
All right, so let's wrap up, I would say, no?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, yeah, we didn't assign tasks actually. I would maybe ask you, Siri, to. You wanted to update the README, right?
Yeah, I just.
But you don't have this SVG file for this. If you give me your, I think I edited with Google Draw. If you give me a Gmail, you can
of course.
create a new version of the testing pyramid and check that into the repository. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Nice. So it's something that you can do.
Yeah.
All right. And Daniel, what would you like to work on?
I might look. Yeah, I might look into the colors if there is a possibility to use the logarithmic scale on the bubble chart. So
That's a good idea.
It might be simple.
I think it will be simple. You can play around a little bit with it. I think we're also using a library for the color scale. I think it's called Chroma. Yes. Here you go. That's the link to Chroma.js, and I think they will have a logarithmic scale there. And Mike, is there something you would like to work on? I mean, you can also work on, you can pair with Daniel, and you can both pair on this bubble chart. You wanted to work on it for the rest of the last weeks. And is it something you would like to work on? Mike, you're muted.
Yeah. Sorry, the kids are being noisy and all that, so
No problem.
yeah. But I think I will link up with Daniel.
What did you say?
I will link up with Daniel on the task.
All right. Cool. Then I would say everyone is happy, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And I would say we can do pair programmings and see each other in the next couple of days. Otherwise, we see each other next week on Wednesday.
All right.
All right. See you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you for all
Yes.
for today.
Bye.
Bye.